Yo, what's up?
Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast.
If you can follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, help us get into those charts. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button.
And while you're there, leave a lovely comment. Tell us what this podcast means to you. If there's any funny bits, any guests, we'd love to hear about it. Just drop a comment. We're always watching. Let's get into the podcast.
Everybody has mental health. Like, mental health's the same as your physical health. Like, but he's like, mental illness is completely different. Like, people care more about the numbers on their social media than they do about like what's actually going on in real life. Do you know what I mean?
Sheas, a picture of her cat, which was the ugliest hell looking cat I've ever seen in my life. Looked like a vermin.
Like
puts it over
like
my
shoes.
two shoes. I look over, and all I heard was this like, and I like proper like what?
Here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack. Welcome back, talking shit, I'm drinking wine, like and subscribe. Here's the crack.
A sign and it says too late instead of too late because it's already been gone.
Oh, is this a property?
Yeah,
Too
late.
late, too late.
It's too late.
Too
I
late.
thought I was freaking out. I thought I was something seeing stuff. Like.
Too
I thought you were going to say something smart about all the election posters at the moment.
fuck.
Up and about. Who are we voting for? Yo.
Speaking of elections,
Seen it. First of all, how's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast. Getting stuck in. What was the crack this week, boys?
I wanted to start off.
Oh, he wants to start off.
It's coming into summer now.
It is. Beach balls ready? No.
No. And I was thinking, I was listening to Harry Styles' new song. It's called As It Was, and I was like,
Listen to it. Enjoyed it.
I think this is going to be the song of the summer.
Yeah.
And it made me think, what
Play it
is
there.
your favourite summer songs? Like, what songs remind you of summer?
Play it there. I haven't heard it yet.
Play it, are you joking?
No, because we've got YouTube copyright it and then not make 73p off our video.
Oh no!
It's like, it's not the same as.
Oh yeah. That's shit. That's
Yeah.
all.
Are you
Won't beat
joking?
Summer
Are you
Belter.
joking?
It's too early, man. It's too early.
Oh, it's not too early.
There's only one Summer
When
Belter,
it's
and
good.
there's only one song. There's only one song that will ever be the Summer Belter,
Well,
and it's the Wanted. Glad you came.
glad you came by the wanted.
Yeah. All other songs are obsolete.
That is a fair shout, like. I actually forgot all about that song.
I actually
What would be
really.
yours? Like? I feel like you're going to come out with a really random song. Like, I feel like last summer it was like Stay by Justin Bieber and Kid Laroi.
Yeah.
Do you know that type of
Jerry
vibe?
Cinnamon.
Oh,
was a
fuck
good one.
off. Like.
Jerry Cinnamon was a good one.
I don't
man.
rate Jerry Cinnamon. Like.
Oh,
Neither do I.
I don't rate him.
I
I
was-
don't.
I
My wee
don't-
bros take us to go Jerry Cinnamon, and he says himself, he's like,
He actually took
I
the
don't
tickets
even
off
like him.
them and burnt them. Like.
I
He's
say-
like, you're not going to that shit.
he's like, I disown you. I don't see what all the fuss is about. Like.
no, I do enjoy Jerry Cinnamon.
We're all looking at our phones here. This isn't
good.
going
No,
to
I'm on my Spotify. What are you on? He's on
Trying to
email.
get back on
He's
that
on the
fucking,
hub.
He's on
list
email.
of the thing you had there.
Have you? There's a one that came across on TikTok the other day, and it was like a mix. It's like a mashup of that. It was like a Snoop Dogg song, but it was
Right.
like I've got summer on my mind.
Yeah, I know what's
And I've been
on about.
listening to it a few times, like windows down. Especially the weather we've been getting the past while has been
Oh no,
insane.
that's what made me think of it. I was listening to that song today, and
Yeah.
I was like, "This is the song of the summer." Because everyone's like,
Yeah.
Drake's dropping a new album. It's gonna be like that one he dropped years ago
Yeah.
that had all the bangers on it. Like, and you're like, will it though?
I feel like now
see
we're
it.
getting into that like summer stage where it's just so like nice at the moment.
Yeah,
And it takes me back to lockdown, to where you actually really do think about, like, were you that worse off? You know what I mean? Chilling at home, like you were out doing all your golf and stuff.
I know. I
know
was
what I
actually
mean?
thinking about that the other day.
We
like.
were like I was out like just.
I'd love to
living
go back
my
to
best
lockdown.
life.
Shay was painting his brother's head blue. You know?
Yeah, you were getting
Boy.
bangers on
God.
TikTok. This is even before this whole podcast
We were
thing
actually
came
talking
about.
about
Like,
this the other night. And we were like saying, like, it actually is hard. Like, I was saying to him, like, if you wanted to be TikTok famous now, like, he was saying, like, to keep up with trends and stuff is just so difficult. Like.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you not feel though with TikTok, right? And maybe I've disproved myself because recently we've put up a few TikToks and they haven't really banged as much. And it maybe just might just be the
I
conversational
think it's
aspect of it.
consistency.
I think you see if you were already on the platform and like established, like your Addison Rays, your Charlie D'Amelio's, like even like small like Brody Wellmaker and stuff, like established content creators, they're just posting the same stuff and they're banging out the views. I feel like TikTok's just got to that stage where if you were on it, like you're just going to keep growing. Whereas if you join it now and try and be like,
it's hard, like
you even look like who's all them knobs at the moment, just on it at the moment. They're always on.
I don't know where you're gonna go.
The old guy, the old guy, and
everybody thinks I've been thinking of the same person.
Like everybody thinks he's a bit of a nonce. Like
Jimmy Savile.
Cal the Dragon was friends with him and stuff.
Simple Simon.
We should talk about this because this is
Simple Simon.
Simple Simon.
Have you seen all this stuff?
Him and this other fella. Ryan and
he's
boxing.
VHS Tiki Taki and
he's fighting here by Ed Matthews. And it all started from Cal the Dragon because it was like I seen this TikTok and it was like Cal the Dragon a year ago on he's like him saving goals in the net and all, and now it's like people are fighting over him. It's even like that girl, what do you call it?
Astrid,
yeah. So it started.
Let's not pretend like we don't know her.
Okay, I just couldn't think of her name, but like it started off he was friends with Simple Simon. And then she came into the fold and was basically like going on TikTok lives with him. Everyone saying like she was trying to get clout off him, which she probably was. And then apparently what's happened is like as he's got bigger, his dad sort of got involved now, and he sort of like, because I think he didn't really pay any heed to it, but now he's obviously getting brand deals and all. His dad's got involved and he's sort of like looking out for him, and he's like, you shouldn't be involved with these people, like she's selling porn to kids basically. Well, she basically is like she's promoting her OnlyFans on TikTok, like let's be real. And then your boy Ed Matthews basically got involved because I think your boy Cal had a thing for Astrid, and then Simple Simon was like apart, like basically like
it's so hard to know though because everyone just plays
but
it off.
He said he said on the TikTok live he read her like
who
your boy Simple Simon
said he
but this
shagged.
is
because they were like you said
Astrid.
apparently it only happened once, but like the whole thing was like Cal was like had a like fancied her basically, and then he came and like sly dogged him like. And then that's why Ed Matthews got involved because he's like Cal, like he's tramped you over, and then that's how the whole thing transpired.
But like this is so weird, right? Because when you come to think about it, right, you see
he's
like
a modern day Robin Hood. Like.
They done the whole football match, and then there was obviously that big thing where like the wee fella jumped like and slide tackled Cal the Dragon, and like obviously people were outraged at that. But then right here's one thing, like see this whole YouTube boxing thing, like they're actually boxing now, like Simple Simon and Ed Matthews.
No fucking Ali things looking to box Astrid.
That's their spiraled from it as well, because like Cal blocked your girl Astrid, and then he started doing stuff for your girl, what do you call it, Ali Brooke. And like now they're around now because he's like you unfollowed me for selling porn to kids, and she does the same thing. And you're like, this is just hacked.
But like I just don't understand the whole thing, because like you look at even the likes of like the other night Tyson Fury fought, and like Tommy Fury fought before. Like was it how long before
it was mad, right? Me and him watched it, right? And the main card was at like 9. The main fight was at 10, wasn't it?
10,
but like you didn't come to mind at like 9 or it was about 9:30. But when I was like late, like so Brony came to mind, I was leaving the house at like 7 o'clock, and Tommy Fury had already fought. Like that's how low down. There was no one in the stadium watching.
That's what I was saying. Like there's like there's very but how are they going? Like he is like 315k on TikTok, Simple Simon.
But sure, what do you call the Dragon is like 1 million.
I know, but how big is it going to be? Like,
it's not big. Like did you not see the whole like press conference thing? It was literally like a room like this.
It literally looked like they'd rent it somewhere like here, and it's just so
But it's
weird.
the type of thing is like I think if you didn't spend time on TikTok you wouldn't have a clue who they were.
Imagine this happened in Northern Ireland. Like imagine this actually like it actually makes you think how absolutely messed.
But there's not
whole
big
scene is. Like
there's not big enough people over here. Like there's not. Like.
I know, but like I don't know, like it's just so strange to me how this whole thing transpired. Like, and even looking at them now, it's like you're actually not that relevant. Like you're just relevant on this.
But they'll sell tickets. Like people will go to it just to get to say they were there. Do you know the like, kids and stuff will go to it? It's ridiculous. Like, but they'll fill out like a small thing. Like if Kevin Hart can fill out Limelight too, like, you know.
70
They'll
times.
maybe sell it like the community centre or something.
But that's what it'll be.
But it'll just be a pile of small kids throwing Vitazade at them, like.
I know.
And EHS Tiki Talkie trying to pull all the way.
Like,
It's like,
It's crazy. The whole
It's
thing is
so strange.
mental. But yeah.
How that transpired from your... What's your favourite summer tune?
Cal the Dragon. Glad you came. I couldn't even find one there. Like, I'm trying to think. I don't know off the top of my head, really. I was listening to that and I was like, I think this will be like this summer. Like, I even think like someone will do a remix of that song. And do you know what I mean?
no, this
The
year's
same
going to be Dylan Conkery or something. Have you heard her yet?
No.
She's off Disney Channel. Her song called Birthday Cake, been released like
It's
2
sort
months
of
ago.
ringing a bell.
It's fucking sick. If she comes out with another belter, she's got the summer album. Like,
Yeah.
calling it now.
Called by Shea. We'll clip this up for the world to see.
Well, what exciting
Um,
things we were discussing in the last podcast about the exciting things that we have
Do you want-
planned for over summer.
I feel like we're just
too
going
many
back
things.
around in a circle.
Go
Every
ahead.
podcast is the same conversation. Sorry. What was I going to say? I was listening to that Piers Morgan podcast
Yes,
with
same.
Steve
Bartlett.
Bartlett. And like there was a lot of stuff he said that I was like, I agree with you here. Like. So like one of the things we were talking about was like the difference between mental health and mental illness. And like Piers Morgan was basically like saying our generation, there's like this whole thing with mental health, and like anytime someone goes through something tough, like it's the anxiety, the depression. He's like, whereas like people can't just go through a tough time. He's like people die in your life, things like this happen and you just have to get through it. He's like, not every time something bad happens to you it means you have depression or anxiety, blah blah blah. And he was like basically saying along the lines of he thinks our generation are too soft.
Yeah.
Like he says like, and even with like the whole thing they were talking about was like with the whole like cancel culture, he's like nobody can just have an opinion, like, you know, it's always like you're wrong. Like we've had it before, like, and I was thinking with the whole vaccine thing, like there was people who didn't want to get the vaccine, and then there's the majority of people just wanted to get it to get out of lockdown. But like when you actually think about it, like nobody should really have been forced to get it. Like you should have been allowed to say I don't want it.
Yeah.
Whereas it was a whole like you were talking about it, there was a clip where you talked about it on TikTok and you were sort of like people have reasons why they don't want to get it, and everyone was like, you're full of shit. Do you know what I mean? There was no discussion.
That's the
there.
first time it went from, like, for us, like, as this podcast has grown, it's like kind of like the whole essence of this podcast has been like to discuss things, and like we get comments, like I don't really look at TikTok anymore, but like I even know the other day you posted up a Instagram reel and I seen people commenting there's something funny about the whole Nick Cage thing. And that's funny to me. I don't look at TikTok anymore because I'm like, it's a waste of time and energy. But like that time, that was whenever we got upgraded from proper, like, it wasn't just comments. Like we had, how many people? We had a good, like maybe 2-3 people, like big long paragraphs, like DM us. You need to take that down and issue an apology video.
But that's
let's do that to our 200 followers. Like,
but that's what he was saying. He was like, he just closed all three rings. I got a notification.
Did I?
There,
Yes.
But
High five.
Nice.
he was like, so he was saying about the whole him getting cancelled from Good Morning Britain, and he was like you're everyone says the whole cancel culture thing like isn't really a thing, but he's like, when you start like people are getting sacked from their jobs, like you're giving these people a voice now, like you're giving them power. But he's like, there needs to be two.
Well, put it this way, we wouldn't necessarily on this because we have never ever said anything very controversial on this podcast. We have been involved in bits and pieces when we were younger, when we were trying to like grow it, but at the same time, like, even now,
When we were younger, like
even now, even like when we were younger, it's a fact. But even now, we would tend to steer away from like big topics because like we just know it's not worth even dipping our toe into that water. Like
I don't think it's worth the hassle.
No,
and
definitely
I remember like when I finished uni, I had a job interview, and he mentioned the thing that happened, and I was like, he was dead on about it, and he basically was like, yeah, he's a dick, like.
Yeah.
But he was like, how do you think other people would, like employers would think of this? And you're sort of like, we do this, like, but like we all have jobs, and you sort of need to be like, you know, you have to sort of have.
I think there's a fine line though between like not getting into what happened, but what happened there was us commenting on a current event and that current event was just a lot more like sort of sensitive to be what was being said than we thought. And like at the end of the day, when you look back on it, we were three like 20-year-olds just absolutely just bantering like, and people were proper on like pure trying to cancel the whole thing. We were just kind of talking about it. We were just having an opinion on it.
But do you think, back to like the first question, do you think our generation are too soft?
Yeah.
Why?
They're just so soft.
Wake up,
my fucking head's spinning. Like. I do agree with what you said earlier about who was it, Piers Morgan, who was saying that? Like anytime someone goes through something, it's just like, oh, I have fucking, like, I'm not putting down like people who genuinely do have mental health issues, like, but I do think a lot of people just grasp for that, like,
but you see, even now you're tiptoeing around it.
I know,
and
like,
I would tiptoe around it too, but this is the thing. It's like, what do you call it, like a catch-22 or something, where it's like you're kind of screwed either way you go about this. Because if you came to me and you said, I'm feeling anxious because I have a massive job interview on Friday, I would be saying that's justifiable, like you're obviously nervous.
But would you say you have mental health
issues? If you were coming
there,
to me
like,
and saying, oh my, now it's changed now, where a lot of people would say, I'm really nervous for that job interview on Friday, whereas some people could turn around and be like, oh, my anxiety's really flaring up, and you're like,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Stark difference.
Yeah,
and I agree. I agreed with a lot of what he said, but the main thing that I actually outwardly, like, I was running today when I was listening to it, and I outwardly went, oh my god, yes, was the part where he said, not knowing the difference means that anybody who is like suffering from like depression or anxiety is slipping through the cracks.
Yeah,
I 100% agree.
But that's what I was like. That's another good point. Was like, he's like, there's so many people now who think they have mental health issues or like mental illness. He's like, the point basically was there's a difference between mental health and mental illness. He's like, everybody has mental health. Like, mental health's the same as your physical health. Like, but he's like, mental illness is completely different. And it's now, I think even with like, do you not think now with influencers and people on social media, like people, I think people are too open.
It's almost,
do you know, like everyone's like, oh, like I was really struggling with depression, or I've been depressed, or like I struggle with anxiety, and it's like it's good to raise awareness, but at the same time, it's like, do you not think if there's like an influencer that young people look up to and she's like, I've got anxiety, it's going to influence people that might be like, oh, I want to be like her, like I maybe think I have anxiety too. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I think it comes back to the whole thing where everybody is so concerned now what everybody else is doing. Like no one can just enjoy like watching a content creator, like watching people just make videos and doing like content. No one can just sit back and go, oh, you know what, I don't really like what she's doing, he or she's doing, so I'm not going to watch it. And like, but I think this whole thing, like if you're almost like egging people on to like call people out on like, do you actually have anxiety, you're almost then like promoting cancel culture, because you're trying, you know what I mean?
I know, but like I feel like it's a good conversation, because I myself, like when you have younger brothers and sisters, and like you think of like when we were in high school, there was BBM and there was fucking like Facebook, like,
yeah, I remember Ask FM too.
But like stuff like that, like, but do you know what I mean? Like there was no like we didn't spend as much time on our phones. Like I never watched YouTube when I was younger, like, until I was like maybe 16, 17, you know. Whereas now it's like everyone's on TikTok, and like all people do is spend time on their phones, and like the information they're taking in, like, and there's like so much shit, do you know?
I would say that the time whenever you messaged in and said, I've deleted Instagram and I deleted TikTok because it's curbing my productivity, ever since he did that I actually knew someone who did it, I've been on my phone far less. Because, and I see a lot of things now on TikTok where it's like, stop scrolling because you're literally killing your brain, and it is so true. Like I would say that time before I started the job I'm in at the minute, that I took 2 months off. I was very rarely on my phone. I was out and I was doing stuff. I was at the gym. I was doing like just trying new things. That
you find yourself more creative too.
I was the best person. I genuinely, and I'm not saying this to be like wishy-washy, I genuinely just felt amazing, like, because for 2 months I was just not on my phone, not listening to any of the crap, and just doing what I wanted to do. Like I'm actually doing stuff because I wanted to like experience things. You know what I mean?
Like, how many people do you think actually do stuff now for the experience compared to how many people do it for the Instagram?
3%,
like I honestly think, like you see people on Instagram all the time, and you're like, you can sort of tell like you're there for the Instagram.
Do you know what's a
know
big
what I
one
mean?
now? These fucking girlfriends putting up these photos about their boyfriends being Instagram trained. Like I think that says a lot about society, that girlfriends expect. I know they don't
What do
expect
you
their
mean? I
boyfriends.
don't know what you mean.
It's like a TikTok trend where it's like, oh, you can tell he's not Instagram trained, and she puts up photos of her holidays.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
But that's like such a outlook on society now, that girlfriend. I know they don't expect their boyfriends to be Instagram trained or whatever, but that people just watch that video and they know, like,
they know what they mean.
that's the thing, like,
Yeah.
that they need to be Instagram trained, how to take a photo for Instagram, how to pose, like the lighting and all. Like, you just
Yeah.
need to know this as a boyfriend now. Like,
I know. It's just like, but
that
that's
shit's scary.
But
like.
everything's documented now. Like,
Yeah.
like I think like the whole vlogging thing and all is cool, but like you see the whole day in the life thing. Like, to me, it's like every day you're like, this is what I'm doing today, and like, you know, it's so like you're like, how much time have you spent on your phone doing that? Like,
Yeah.
whereas like how much time have you actually spent like focusing on what you're doing? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people are like it's the whole metaverse thing. Like us people living online. Like people care more about the numbers on their social media than they do about like what's actually going on in real life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's when you go to a restaurant and people are taking fucking pictures of their food. Like, it's like everybody's done it. Like there's, I'm not
Yeah.
putting them down. Like, but I'm just saying. It's like, oh, I'm taking this photo so people know I'm here, or so like people
Yeah.
can, like, do you know what I mean?
And it's almost like when you go somewhere, you have to be like taking photos, or it's like, did it actually happen? Like I would
Picker
say,
down.
like concerts and stuff. Like I'm very rarely on my phone now.
Yeah.
Like I would take a few, but like if I recorded something, I'm not looking at it and being like, I want to post this up on Instagram. And like, you take the piss out of me because my private Instagram is private.
Yeah.
Like, and people have tried to like, I say people, 5 people maybe have like followed the podcast, then followed yous, and yous have been like sort of like, oh, they're doing their rounds type things. Like, you just know, like, we have
Yeah.
3 accounts on our phones, like,
Yeah.
and it's all just, you know, this person follow. And like, whenever someone tries to follow me, I just delete them because I'm like, I don't know you, and
Yeah.
I'm not using this. Like, I probably haven't posted on Instagram in about 2 months because I don't feel the need to, like,
Yeah.
you know, just do it for like, what is it, like a gratification type thing. But I agree with coming back to the former, like, I think everybody's just so scared, like, and to say what they think. But even now at that, are they though? Because you still, like, that's one reason why I don't look at TikTok comments like on our own thing anymore, is because people are also so opinionative.
I know, but it's different for us because like,
trying
we're
to, like,
actually recording it.
get
and,
them
like,
under your skin.
It's, you can see who it is, whereas like anyone can be commenting that. Like, you don't know
Yeah.
who they are. Like.
Yeah.
Like we get the same couple of people commenting shit, and you're like, you don't have a fucking clue who that is. Like,
Yeah.
like it's just some random name with some random profile picture. Like.
Yeah.
Do you know
Love
what I
that,
mean?
though. Love that.
Did you
But
say you love that?
I love that. Like, sure, if they're
Very
coming back, good content. But like, I just think now, like, people live in like an alternate, like, it almost makes you become 2 separate people. There's the, like, I've met people who have pretty well-known Instagram accounts from here, and like, obviously, like, I went to that Power video and stuff, and like, people like Peter McKinnon, met him. Now, he was a lovely fella, but he was not as like what you see on the videos was not what I
Yeah.
met. And like, I know a few people, like, from, let's say a few, maybe 1 or 2 that I've like followed, like photographers and stuff who like do vlogging and stuff. And like, I remember when I was younger, like, I followed them, and like, I know whenever I actually like met them, I was like, God, you're so boring.
But even like, do you know what was I gonna say? Like your boy who like's worked with like Logan Paul and all. What do you call
Yeah.
him?
Mike?
Mike.
No, who we had on the podcast.
Oh yes,
Who met him?
Johnny.
No, you know your boy who like works with like your boy Julian, the magician guy. I can't think of his name now. That's
Oh.
bad. Like.
Yes, I know him very well.
Well,
I
he
know
was
it,
saying
yeah.
about he was at Logan Paul's house and all,
Yeah.
and he said like he's nothing like what he's like on camera.
Oh, Video Lee?
Yeah, Video Lee.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Saved us. He was like saying
Cancelled.
that. But even like with
And me half
influencers
asleep.
on, he said they've went to influencer events and they don't really know anyone,
Yeah.
and they're coming up and like the first thing they're asking is how many followers do you have? Like
Ah.
do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like it's like a social thing. Like it's what do you call it? Like a social like is it?
But
like,
you even look right. Not on the scale of that, but we have been to a few events.
we haven't been to any like influencer things.
We've been to a certain like event, and it was
Oh.
very much like,
It wasn't our scene.
it wasn't our scene, but it was. And I'm not saying,
But,
this,
like,
and
when
I
that
would
people
definitely go
are-
back.
when
I
that-
had a brilliant night. You got incredibly sick that night. Like, we were
Yeah.
flying out to Manchester the next day.
Oh.
catch up here. But like
So behind.
at the same time, how many people did you meet that night that it was immediately? So what is it you do? It was almost
see,
like
you were around chatting to everyone, whereas I was sort of like,
me.
yeah.
How was I chatting to everybody?
But you were chatting to more people than me. Like, sure, that's the night we met India.
Yeah, but I just
Like,
went
you
up
were
to her and
going
was
around
like,
like
"You
a
coming on the
social
podcast?"
butterfly.
Yeah.
I feel like I wasn't, but like
But, like,
I
we
didn't
met
really
a guy-
notice it, to be honest. But like, it wasn't like, I just felt like we don't belong here.
We don't.
Do you know what I mean?
We don't.
Do you know? But yeah. I'm trying to think.
Strange
There's anything
vibes.
else to really.
But-
I can't believe that came from the whole mental health thing.
But apart from that, did you? I feel like saying that you agree with Piers Morgan is almost like cancelling yourself.
But I do
out.
agree. I think that's true. But like, at this, I don't feel like that's a bold statement. Like, I do
Yeah.
believe that there is people that actually suffer from mental illness, and then you have your own mental health, and I just think, like, everyone goes through days where they're sad or they feel shit, and everyone goes through days where like they might, like the likes you're saying, you might have a job interview coming up and you're anxious, but it doesn't mean you've got depression or anxiety, which is, I think, is the issue now, where it's like, I feel like it's almost like
Cool.
trendy to be
trend.
like, do you know what I mean?
And how would you, if you were head of the schools in Northern Ireland? Don't know why I did this as if schools didn't exist, but if you were like head of schools, how would you go about like educating people? Because this is one thing I would love to know your thoughts about as well, and it's something that everybody always talks about. Like in school, you'd learn so much that you'd actually never use. Like I
think there definitely needs to be more education about it, which would obviously help with this problem, like
Yeah.
talking about, like, but I just think, like, there's just, like, I don't know enough about mental health to say,
but even further than that, schools, I genuinely think schools should be teaching kids, especially like secondary schools, more up to that sort of higher, like 5th year, 6th year, upper 6th. There should be something set aside a week where like it almost should be like voluntary, where if the kid wants to go to it they can, or if the person wants to go to it they can, where they're like taught about like even something simple like later life stuff, like going to like a mortgage advisor. Because like if you actually think about it, like if you go
no, this is different to mental
yeah,
health.
no, but think about it.
But
If
here's
you-
what I'd say to you with that there. Like, do you think if that's a voluntary thing where you're going to select certain kids to come into it, if other kids who aren't going to those see them going to that, do you not think they're going to single them out?
No, I mean like it should be up to the the kid if they think like I want to go to
Yeah.
that class.
Yeah. So
I
if
don't-
they're
or
voluntarily
maybe
going to
ma-
them classes,
Or
do you not
maybe
think that's
make it
gonna
It
compulsory.
should be compulsory.
Yeah,
I think it
but
should
if
be a
you,
compulsory
yeah, but
thing,
that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like, I don't want to like a force thing, like as if I'm going to change the educational system in Northern Ireland here. But like, do you know? Where but like, if you think about it, right, where does like I don't know the facts here, so I'm just saying this as a broad statement. But I would say a lot of like mental health issues probably come from what happens in your day-to-day life, aka money management. Like people maybe being too far in debt, not able to afford a house. And if they had something in there to like teach people like, no, this is actually a really crappy deal that you're getting on it, like this is what you should be looking for when you go for, like get your mortgage, or like, you know, do X, Y, or Z. Like it could cause a lot of knock-on effects to like positively influence
Well, I
people's
think,
mental
like,
health.
Money makes the world go round, and it's like so influential in your quality of life, and the fact that like you don't learn about it in school is bad.
Hashtag
It's not
here,
good.
we should be on them election
We're
posters.
woke. We're woke. Elect me now.
Independent.
I suppose quickly finish on, you wanted to talk about the prices of holidays in Northern Ireland.
Let's discuss.
In here? Where?
Yeah,
Northern
so
Ireland?
I don't know for
what is it people say during lockdown?
what
Staycations.
staycation. Yes, the whole staying in Northern
Hip.
Ireland. Yeah, here, adventure right on your doorstep.
Hold on.
So
And we're back.
here's one thing, like, and the viewers, listeners can get along with this as well, right? So a lot of people, like I would say the majority of people listening to this now, and us three, have all went on like smaller staycations in Northern Ireland / maybe travelling down south or something. But the majority of us went to something like it's an hour or two away. How expensive is this all now?
I haven't been in so long.
So like we're just back there, got treated to a birthday vacation, and like I don't know the price of it because obviously it was bought for me.
Couldn't get out of her.
You know what I mean?
You definitely do. Like.
Absolutely. I genuinely don't. No,
You definitely went on the
I
site
could
after
go
that.
onto the site and look, but I don't want to. But like,
Trust.
if you went on now and looked at that, I guarantee it was over £200.
Well, I was saying to you, I was like, Brona's birthday is in a month. Well,
Yes.
like when this comes out, who
Wait
knows?
till you hear this.
Right, so Brona's birthday is coming
what
up,
man
and I
has
was
planned.
like, I was like, wouldn't mind going away. Don't really know what we're doing. And I was like,
Yeah.
we could go to Galgo. I was like, we don't want to go too far. So I was like, are you okay? Like, I feel like you're gonna die.
He heard you were going to Galgore,
We're
but he's
gonna-
like, where's this money coming
We're
from?
going to we're gonna go to Galgorm, so I priced it, and I was like, it'd be nice. Galgorm's close enough to where we live. We'll stay over, wee morning in the spa, and then she's gonna go out that night for her birthday
On her own.
with her mates. Like,
Where are you going?
He's staying at
I
home.
don't
'cause
know.
he's-
Galgore. I'm
he's
like,
just-
he's staying
no,
on
he's
in
just
Galgore.
paid
we're gonna
for
stay on the
Galgore.
Friday night, and then
She fucks up. Like.
we're gonna stay on the Friday night, and she's gonna go away.
Yeah.
But priced it anyway. Not even including spa or nothing. Like. Well, like I suppose the spa is free if you book. Like, but the stay over, bed and breakfast and all one night. How much do you think it was?
I have no clue. Like.
360 quid.
Fuck off. Like.
And I think that was bed and breakfast. They don't even think that was included. Like
Yeah.
that, and three. It
That was
like,
you sleeping in the foyer.
That's 4 days in Spain.
and I was like thinking, like,
That's 4 days in Spain hotel.
one
every
night. Like,
We priced all inclusive to Mallorca.
yeah.
All inclusive. Don't know why I ticked that box, but all inclusive, £550 each
For how long?
for 7 nights.
What? That's ridiculous.
Fuck, hey.
But like I think things are expensive now anyway. But I think
Yeah.
because of COVID now, a lot of people. Even, you need to consider the amount of people that didn't get the vaccine that don't want to get it. They can't go anywhere.
And plus the amount of people who probably don't want to travel abroad because they're like, you have to get PCRs and all that crap.
Yeah, and then I think, do you not think there's always that thing that people have in their head that going away is more expensive than staying at home when
Yeah,
it's not?
100%
Like.
it's not.
I think the hassle of it plays into it. Like.
I-
Do you know what I mean? Like I think there is people that are just like, oh,
But I'll say this.
flights
I
and
think
all.
I think it's always been like that.
Yeah, no,
It
I
always
agree,
has
yeah.
been like that.
Probably just
when we
haven't
were
noticed it.
kids or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's always been cheaper to go away. Because I remember that's one thing my ones would always said. Like, you're going down to Bundoran for like the weekend, probably cost the same to go to fucking Spain for a week. Like,
Bundoran is Armagh's fucking
It's so
Lanzarote.
dear,
Like,
Bundoran.
I
Is
swear
it
to
like?
fuck, you go down to Bundoran and see half the Armagh that you know. Like.
Serious? Like,
Yeah, it's dead now as a whole.
it's like Port Russia is the
yeah,
Yeah,
but like
wow.
Port Rush is actually nice.
See, they reopened fucking, what do you call it?
Yeah,
Barry's
Barry's is
open.
reopened. It's now
Freddy's or
Curry's.
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 Is it?
Yeah.
Is there
DC
TVs
World.
and all on it?
Don't know.
Go and get a TV and get in a roller
I would be
coaster
keen to
and
go
all.
down if you boys were keen as well.
Not a fucking chance. Have you
Why
seen
not?
those queues?
I don't even.
No.
Yeah, right enough.
So
eh?
apparently, right?
There was queues to Port Stewart from
So-
Port Rush.
Yeah. Oh, Easter
Everyone just lining up on
Easter
their-
Sunday cruise was the other
Oh,
day as
God.
well. And just bop, 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 bop.
Did you
all
go?
night
Did you
long.
not
No, I
take- did you
didn't
not
go
take the
anywhere near.
Civic
I
out,
heard
man?
no.
You fucking beat that.
Could-
The last time we were down on Easter Sunday, we went out on the Saturday,
yeah.
and we couldn't drive to the shop that was 2 minutes away round the corner, and we were both pretty ill. Like, but we
Every
couldn't-
man just sitting on the limiter, like
just ma, and needless to say,
going nowhere. Like,
we were
Right
like,
on.
here, mom will go get just a few like snacks and stuff because we're both like dying. We had to walk around, and it was the longest 5-minute walk of my life because you were just walking past every car, and I had my flipping Reebok, like my Reebok like training shoes on,
Yeah.
which are red, right? And you would have sworn wearing a pair of, if it wasn't
you
brown boots,
confident they're
if
red?
it wasn't brown boots that day, you were a foreigner. Like they were like
Were
people.
people shouting at you? Like?
Someone rolled down the window and go, it's a nice pair of shoes you got there, Dorothy. Because Dorothy wore red shoes. And I was just like, mate, just
fuck, man.
shush. La.
Yeah.
But I just love the confidence in them all. Where like, even like, did you see, there's a guy going around on TikTok now and he's asking like people like, what's your biggest turn off? No, it's not Geedy, it's
I've
another
seen him.
guy.
I think,
And
I think
he's
his
from up
video's
my
good.
way.
He sounds like
Yeah,
he is.
and
I
he's
sent it in
proper,
to you
like,
and I
rude.
goes, do you know him?
He
Because
sounds like he's from up my
Wrong, you
way.
know.
But like, he was outside, I think he was outside Anchor in Port Stewart.
Yeah.
Which was the first place we went to that night. Like me and you had only known each other for like 2 years, and you and
Only
Bruna
2
and all come
years.
down, yeah,
Longest
not
2 years
long,
of my life.
but like we
First
went
time
to go out and like Thomas walked in and immediately was like, here, no,
No,
and
man.
went down the road to somewhere else. But
Don't
enough
let
Anchor,
me
like,
in because I
outside-
wasn't wearing brown shoes.
they're outside the Anchor, and he was like, do you like feet or something? And these boys were coming along going, hey boy, I wouldn't care less for shit. And then you're like, I think it's class though. Like, it's so funny to like just, they're all so it's nice to see like so much like just good vibes, but it's just not my vibes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
People coming together.
Did you see the boys standing in front of the exhausts, like bending down and putting their face in front of the exhaust? So
Getting rigged on, like
there was these boys like pretend this was the exhaust. They were putting their faces down. And then the boys were going like bam bam bam, and just black faces, like they were just smoke.
I seen somebody done that and they lost his fucking ears or something.
But it's proper, like, is that not like proper? What is it? Is it carbon monoxide?
Yeah,
fumes.
Like that is like proper bad. Like.
It's dangerous, man.
But
don't be at it.
Yeah, I actually heard this thing the other day about this new Barry's 2.0. Curry's is what it's called. So apparently in Barry's you could always like walk through and like go back anytime and get your tokens.
Yeah.
But apparently you have to get your tokens at the start, and it's like you can't go back.
What?
Now I highly doubt you can. I don't know how factual this is, and maybe it's just because it's so busy.
How do you get the big prizes?
Exactly.
Spend there all day.
But like, I would love to go. Would you not be keen on going?
I go, but I'm not standing in queues.
Ghost train and all.
I'm not standing.
I think you'd love to go.
I could be a bit young.
Did I tell you what he done the other night?
Him?
Yeah, him.
When?
Freak of nature.
When
I don't even know
used
what
to
it did,
get-
Diana.
Freak. That night at yours.
Yeah.
No, the night we all went out.
That wasn't the other
Bro, this
day.
was ages
That
ago.
was like a month ago.
That was-
You said the other
No,
night.
right, as it
Sorry,
was
yeah,
yesterday.
That was the other night. When was that? That was so long
That
ago.
was like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
So 2 or 3 weeks
I
ago.
was gonna say.
The boys went out in the Prowl.
Right.
Jokes. So the boys went out, right? And we got back, right? And this was after I got insulted for my fresh drippy shoes in Mikey's,
That was
right?
so
So
funny.
feeling pretty tender.
I think,
You know what I mean?
I think we should talk about
I
this.
feel like
This
we
is
shouldn't.
funny. Right, Ross got a pair of the, the Dunk Pandas, and he was fucking buzzing, and he's pure texting me. He's like, should I wear these out? I don't know how to wear these out. And I was like, they're nice shoes, wear them out. Like.
I got so many people looking at me, and one girl actually said to me, "They're nice shoes." And I was like, "I know."
And then after we're out, we're in Mikey's getting a feed, and we were chatting to these ones, and this girl literally turned to Ross and was like, I fucking hate boys who wear black and white shoes.
Meanwhile,
Ross, I thought Ross was going to start crying.
her boyfriend's standing a pair of flipping pleather pre-marked boots.
You were gutted. Like.
She started taking pictures of me.
She
Drawing
started
a
taking
cat on the It's so stupid. But
What was she doing?
So
She was
I woke up.
She's like, they look like my cat.
She goes, "They look like our cat."
But then she was
They
getting,
look like
she, was
our
getting
cat.
she was getting like a filter on Instagram or something,
no,
of
no,
literally
here's the-
videoing
yeah.
the shoes with a cat on them.
So
and
I
then-
woke up the next morning and I thought
Nothing.
somewhere out there in the universe is a Snapchat story of me on some random person's phone, and they've took a picture of me standing like a fat turd in Mikey's with my like burger and chips, and she puts a picture of her cat, which was the ugly as hell looking cat I've ever seen in my life, looked like a vermin, and
Like
puts
her
it
sh-
over
like her
my
shoes.
2 shoes. So somewhere out there is in the stratosphere is a picture of me
What the fuck?
with and I'm standing going like as if like, do not take that photo of me. And I walk over and he was like, that's so story worthy, and he puts it on his story, and I'm like, me and you don't know each other. You've seen the podcast, you've addressed it, but just because you've seen the podcast does not mean that we're at this level of friendship.
It's a
where-
screensaver.
And I goes, oh,
So human.
never even said to me I'll add you on Snapchat or anything, just I'm on this story.
Cowboy.
But anyway, so we got back that night, as you know, probably like 4 a.m.
Right.
And
Couldn't get a taxi. Like.
Shay sleeping on the sofa, I'm sleeping on the airbed, you're peacefully slumbering in your own bed. Next minute he goes, you two freaks love to put the TV on before you go to sleep.
I
which
thought you
find
were going to
so
say
strange.
whenever we got home and I piggybacked you.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. Did you hear about this as well?
No.
We got back and you know what he's like just whips the kit off, like standing in a pair of
Once you get
red.
into a house, like,
red-
did you ever see a cow getting out into a field for the first time after being in the shed and they're bucking around? Like, that's like me getting back to the house after a night out. Like, I see Ross there,
Just
He
just
climbing
ripped
over
off the
Ross.
clothes and
He's
monkey clutched him. Like,
I get in and he's peeling his spray
Why?
on black jeans off. Like peel it, you know how tight Shay's trousers is like. So
They're
Shay's
like- they're just
that's
like-
the first time his legs
They're
have
not
got his
even
blood
jeans.
circulation.
They're not even
Yeah.
jeans. They're just like black filmy. Just
Yeah.
to like unravel.
They
them,
actually
right?
say on the
Yeah.
inside off them spray on, which I find strange.
He just starts rubbing.
I
them
walked
off.
in.
With the
I
towel.
walked in. I walked in. He's running about a pair of like red Calvin Klein boxers on. I'm like, what is this fool doing? So I sat in your like one seater beside like the window, and I just like peeked out for a little second 'cause I heard people outside the apartment like talking. Next minute he mounts me, like I mean proper jumps on me, and what does he do? Him in the start like thinking that he's being hilarious. I'm like, get that out of my face. He opens up the window to just allow people to see in. So I'm sat there smothered with his red flipping boxers in my face. He's just
There's his boxers on your face.
I jumped up.
He
on
mounted
his head,
me.
like,
No, you didn't.
I just grounded his head.
You
like.
had your dick
Lad,
in his
what
face.
was that
like.
wrestling move called?
It's a
like
proper
the
balls and
guillotine.
face, like.
Yeah.
I was like, you ever see the aliens out of Alien? Like, they grasp on your face, the eggs. Like.
I had my eyes
Like
closed
one
the
of
whole
them.
time. I just remember opening my eyes when I heard the rip of the blinds open, and I went, "You did not just pull them blinds back." And literally just a split second of these boys looking in. I was like, "Close the blinds now." But
So
anyway,
they thought they were in Amsterdam for a minute, though.
but
In the red light.
Yeah. But anyway,
What the
yeah, went to sleep and all. Happy. He eventually got him calmed down.
got him calmed down.
Caught him in the
He's
bed.
literally like a child. Like.
Sleeping in the.
Ross is like, here, take the iPod here. Go on the bed.
He turns around and he goes, "Oh, like I just like to watch stuff before I go to bed." And I was like, "You freak, but fine. I know you do it too." And I was like, "Right, whatever." So I just passed out. I woke up at like 6:30. What's he watching? A horror film.
Are you still up?
Yeah.
I look
yeah.
over and all I heard was this like,
He fell asleep.
and I like proper like, what the heck is
What
behind
the
my
fuck?
ear?
Was
Just-
that him or the TV?
The TV. All I hear is just like there, like a proper wee like proper demon sound. Like, and I went, "Oh my, what the heck?" You know when you wake up, like you can't really remember going to sleep, so you just kind of wake up, and I just seen the light, and the first glimpse I caught was him just on the sofa like this here, watching. And I just looked up at him, and I was like, "Turn that crap off now!" And you just literally went, "Sorry," turned it off and went to sleep. This is at like 6:45 in the morning.
YouTube horror shorts, watch them,
Like-
they're fucking brilliantly.
I understand. Were you watching shorts?
On YouTube, they're like short films, but they're horrors. Like.
Such a weird.
It's just complete intensity of horror. Like, there's no like,
Intensity.
you know, they most horror movies.
No
is, like,
wonder you were
drops, like,
sleeping. His
Sitting
heart
there.
was going up 200 miles an hour.
fucking
Like
love
this
that,
is the thing. Like I do understand. I do go to bed sometimes watching something in the background. I just can't get with that.
Well,
I just can't do it. Like I don't know. Like
need the background noise.
watching horror films though. Well, anyway, we'll end on that note.
Yeah.
Thanks very much
Thanks
for tuning
for listening.
in. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.